Hello there, and welcome. It's a beautiful day for a game of lacrosse. Women's lacrosse. Here comes the face-off. The referee has lined up the girls precisely. The ball's up, and here comes number one, scooping the ball in her net. She's running to the field, the goalie doesn't see it coming. She shoots, she scores! Silence. Has anyone else noticed that there seems to be far less people at women's sports events than males? I sure have. And let's talk about what they're missing, what those sports have to offer, and why women are just as capable of playing the same sports as men, sometimes even better. Women in Sports, an original oratory by Courtlyn McCarty. Multiple sports offer both a male and female version of the sport. That is mostly to allow for more children to play. But unfortunately, most of the female version goes unwatched. Take the Boston Blades, for example. I bet before I said that, you didn't even know Boston had a female hockey team. But it's true. The reason you didn't know that is probably because, according to Boston Globe magazine, the Boston Blades aren't even played on TV. Instead, their competitions are uploaded onto YouTube. The coaches are paid a combined salary of $15,000 per season. And most of the players don't even earn salaries. Instead, they hold full-time jobs to earn a living. Now, if that wasn't enough, here we have a comparison of the Boston Blades team and the Boston Bruins. Both hockey teams from Boston. On the one hand, the Boston Blades had an average attendance in the 2014 season of 250 people per home game, while the Boston Bruins had an average attendance of 17,565 people per home game. While this may seem irrelevant to you, think about it like this. It's the same sport being played by two different types of people, yet one of them is significantly underwatched. Where's the logic in that? With so many females going out and doing what was never thought possible, more schools are offering more scholarships for many more female things, including sports. Even with this, boys are still offered 1.3 million more chances to play than women. According to Potential magazine, Division I colleges can give out 85 football scholarships to males, but they can only give out 20 female boat rowing scholarships to females. If you ask me, females are highly underestimated by certain individuals. This needs to change. Now, many of you may be saying that women and men are not equal. Therefore, the sports statistic is logical. The only thing different between a male and a female is our reproductive systems. Other than that, nothing is different. While men can build their bodies differently, women can build it just the same, and in CrossFit, a sport where lifting weights is the object, women and men can lift the same amount of weight at the same tournament. Well, you may think this is illogical or irrelevant. Title IX, a federal law, states this: no person on the basis of sex should be discriminated against, persecuted by, or denied the benefits of any program still having federal financial assistance. In other words, women and men should be treated the same, both on and off the field. Because that is what Title IX was created for: fairness. I can't even begin to tell you the amount of records that have been set or broken by females in athletics. Take Harmilia Curapiovela for example. She ran the 800-meter dash and set the record for the fastest 800-meter dash in 1 minute and 53.28 seconds. Then she set the record for the fastest 400-meter dash in 47.99 seconds. But that record was broken 2 years later by Maria Koch, who set it with 47.6 seconds. Jarmila's record for the 800-meter dash still stands to this day. In the Olympics, women can participate in 23 activities that men can participate in as well. And not only can they participate in them, they can keep relative pace with the men as well. There's only 6 meters difference between the male and female hammer throw. There is 0.99 milliseconds between Usain Bolt and Florence Griffin Joyner for the 100-meter dash. And Torishi Gabara ran the 10,000-meter run in 29 minutes and 56.88 seconds, while I can never say her name. Kenzie Balava ran it in 27.666 seconds. Nearly a 2-minute difference. Women can play the same sports as men, keep relative pace with the men, and break records and barriers for women all across the world. These are just a few of the women who have set records, broken barriers, and changed the world of women's sports forever. In 1704, Sarah Kimball Knight went on a solo horseback ride from Boston, Massachusetts to New York, New York. The first person to have ever done that was a female. Then, in 1811, the first women's golf tournament was held in Scotland. Then, in 1973, Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes tennis tournament. A lot of things have happened to make women's sports the way they are today, including, but not limited to, Jackie Joyner Kearse being the first woman on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine, to Ann Myers being the first woman inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. All of these women were just as capable of playing the sport as men, and they did it just by doing what they loved, being themselves, and doing what in previous times was never thought possible. In conclusion, both women and men's sports can be played by both women and men. Women can not only play the same sports, but they can keep relative pace with the men as well. Laws have been made for the fairness of women's sports. Schools are providing more scholarships for women's sports. And many other things have happened in the world of women's sports to bring it to where it is today. But it's not nearly enough. In 5 years or so, women's sports could be just as noticed as the Super Bowl, which is the biggest sports thing, which is the biggest thing in the sports world. All you have to do is when you see number 1 running down the field, the ball in her net heading for the goal, slow down and cheer her on as she makes the game-winning goal just like any man